Placid Community Redevelopment Agency, CRA. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's 2:05. Charlotte's going to do our invocation and also our Pledge of Allegiance. Please silence your phones.
Bow with me, please. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity that you have given to us to be able to make decisions for the residents of Lake Placid. We ask you, Lord, to give us wisdom, discernment, and understanding so that we can make the decisions that are best for the whole. We thank you, Lord, for this opportunity, and we ask you to bless the hands of all of our workers that are here. We thank you, Lord, for each council member that is here. We ask you, Lord, to bless their lives. And Lord, we thank you for this day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Okay, can we have roll call, please?
Here.
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 Okay, and thank you. We're going to go ahead with the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve consent agenda 1, both A and B.
Your second? I'm sorry, okay. Thank you. Anything from the audience?
I just wanted to say that we do have a correction that will be needed on this. From the minutes, the previous minutes, it does say call to order, and I'm pretty sure this was just a typo from carrying over, but it says Mayor Holbrook. So if we can just make a note that we're going to correct that for the correction of the minutes, because you called the meeting to order.
Correct. So do you want to amend your approval of the minutes to include that change, Ms. Hayes?
Yes, what was the change? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Yes, ma'am. If you, on the very first page right here at the top where it says invocation and then the call to order,
Yes.
it says Mayor Holbrook, so we just need to correct that.
Okay, I amend my motion to approve the consent agenda A with approval of the agenda and correction of call to order will be Vice Mayor Debra Worley, and then approval of minutes from March 6th.
Okay, we have a corrected motion and second. So all in favor?
Aye.
You want to call out? Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, our next is public comments. I don't see any of the public here. New business is the downtown Interlake project.
Thank you. So we have the request for proposal for the project, and it was publicly posted on BidNet Direct and the Town of Lake Placid website. We also put it on the Nextdoor app. We emailed it directly to the individuals or the firms who had already previously expressed interest. The RFP was released on March 20th with a proposal submission deadline of 3 p.m. on March 28th. Upon receipt of all the proposals, we did review them. It says on here that the town staff would conduct a thorough review and evaluation, after which a formal recommendation will be presented to the CRA board for consideration. So they were not sealed bids, let me first clarify that. However, they are here for your review in this manila envelope. So I'll give you a few minutes to look at that. And then I can kind of go over some of what we have.
I think also they could vote on one portion of this or all portions.
Correct.
So you will see TWQ did 1, 2, 3, and 4. Some people did 1 and 4, some did 2, just 3. So
So when it went out, we told them that they could put in the RFP for any of the phases, phase 1, 2, 3, or 4. We were also directed to stay locally, and we did put that there was preference to local. We have some questions a question that we wanted to ask, because on phase 2, in the award recommendation memo, so let me go through this really quick. A thorough review has been completed of all the submitted proposals for the RFP number LP 2025-03. Based on the scoring outlined, the following vendors were recommended for award, are recommended for award by phase. Phase 1, removal and site preparation, would be Robbins Nursery. Now take note that they also scored the highest for phase 4 as well, so they would be able to handle phase 1 and 4. Phase 2 is irrigation installation, and that's DC Irrigation. They are local to Lake Placid. Paver placement for phase 3 is LG Brick Company. Now they are located in Arcadia, so this is the reason why I wanted to hone in a little bit on this. Whenever we looked at it, we were thinking, okay, well, we said local, they're thinking local Heartland region. They do a lot of work here, and I asked Harry did reach out and speak with him, because this is some of the qualifications were like responsiveness and how quick they get back to us, how long they've been doing this, and so they work very closely with the city of Bartow. I don't know if Harry is here, he can answer any questions. We've looked at pictures, we've done SunBiz, Google, we've tried to do our due diligence, but if you wanted to keep that local, then we could explore with Ibanez, because Ibanez did put in a recommendation, a proposal, so that's included for your review. The alternative recommendation would be for TWQ, because they did bid for all 4 phases, so that is there for it's up to you to decide how you want us to do it. Do we want to go out and separate it out, or do you want it all at once? Or I shouldn't say all at once, it'll be phased, forgive me for that. Do you want it all by one company? I apologize.
My question is this on?
You just push it right there, Mr. Hartzell.
Okay, my question would be, how does his price for all 4 phases compare to the individual totaled up?
Well, let's see.
Is it in here?
That's a good question, Mr. Hartzell, but I don't think so. We can do that really quick. So it looks like we have $3,131.40 difference if we were to go with TWQ, opposed to phasing it out between the 4. It's $3,000 more. It would be $3,000 more to go with TWQ.
And with that calculation that you were so swift on the calculator, and I just got mine out of my purse, did you include the brick company 15,000, or did you include the pavers, Ibanez Gardens, for 11,007?
Good question. I went with LG Brick Company, so we can do it with the local company and see what that amount is real quick.
It's going to be more like $7,000 difference then, I believe.
Oh, yes, yeah. It would be more.
I think, well.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm having a hard time sorting out the numbers, subtracting from the lump sum, so on and so forth. It'd have been nice if each phase was, if we were given a price per company per each phase. Yeah, on their quotes, like, for example, TWQ, it's one lump sum, so I'm trying to subtract in my head to take out the irrigation, take out the hardscaping.
Oh, for TWQ.
Yeah, so, okay, so he had hardscaping for 8,120, and the other bid for brick was 15,000.
I'm adding, I think I'm adding incorrectly. Just give me one more second here.
I was going to say, there's no rush.
Okay,
We want to make sure you feel confident in the decision you make.
and, okay, so LG brick was 15,000 plus or minus. The hardscape for TWQ was 8,000, and I'm looking for the hardscape for Ibanez.
So I have, if you take the Robbins quote, the total of which is $22,157.85, and you add DC irrigation, $3,460, and you add pavers from Ibanez Gardens, $11,700, I come up with $37,317.85, as opposed to TWQ of $43,131.40. So that's $6,000 cheaper if we go to the individual bids. And let's see.
One of the other things that we noticed as far as LG brick was the underneath where the base, you can see where they talk about the supply and spread. So it looks like they were going to do more prep work for the area than Ibanez was, but we can't confirm that. We just are looking based off of what was provided to us with the RFP.
Did Brantley send this out, or was this through him?
So originally, whenever we first had the conversations, not this last meeting, but the meeting prior, it was Keep Lake Placid Beautiful, and then because of Mr. Brantley being the Keep Lake Placid Beautiful president, we had tasked him with getting some of the quotes, the bids, and then when we came back last month, that was where we received the direction to go out further, and so we put it out. So he had obtained some of the bids.
I have a question on the Robbins bid. What part of this bid is the Phase 1 removal and site preparation? What line items are included there?
Yes, ma'am. So if you go to the last page, or the second page of their quote,
Okay.
for service labor, it says it may be less dependent on the time spent on the job, but it's 78 times 100, so it's 7,800 is what they put in there for that.
So
And then
there-
you can see the disposal fee. They have a disposal fee to get rid of anything that's there.
So is their site prep fee 7,800 plus 150 plus 100 plus 300?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And that would include the Phase 1 for removal and then to get the site prepared, and also the Phase 4 of final installation and mulching. For that amount, Councilwoman Hayes.
Okay. So it appears to me that on the Robbins bid, 8,350 is site prep, $13,807.85 is plants. We then go to the Ibanez bid, the Ibanez bid shows a lot more in plants. They show $42,820 in plants, which does not include removal of existing flower beds, demolition, site prep, or irrigation. So I would propose that we use Robbins Nursery South for Phase 1, DC Irrigation Phase 2, paver placement Ibanez Gardens Phase 3, and final installation and mulching Robbins Nursery Phase 4. And that's that total I said a minute ago, 37,000, whatever. I'll do it again.
Okay, I'm sorry, I got a couple, would you repeat that? I have DC for Phase 1, and then Ibanez,
No, it's 22,157, no, that's not right, excuse me. Phase 1 is $8,350.
and that's which company?
That's Robbins. Then Phase 2 is DC Irrigation, which is $3,460. And then Phase 3, we'll go to Ibanez Gardens and do the pavers part for $11,700. And then go back to Phase 4, final installation and mulching Robbins Nursery for $13,807.85, which that part includes the plants, apparently. Gives us a total of $37,317.85. I am assuming that Phase 4, final installation and mulching, is planting the plants and mulching them. Yes? Okay.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
I was going to say, I do have a recommended motion. If we want to go through that motion, we would just need to take in on the Phase 3, put Ibanez. This will help
Okay.
our deputy clerk.
Yes, that's the only change.
Okay.
So would you like to read that? I move that the CRA,
I'm sorry.
do you want to read this?
I can read that, yes. So I move that the CRA Council Board approve the phased contract awards for the Interlake Streetscape Project, RFP number LP 2025-03, as recommended, awarding each phase to the following vendors. Phase 1, removal and site preparation, Robbins Nursery. Phase 2, irrigation and installation, DC Irrigation, Inc. Phase 3, paver placement, Ibanez Gardens. Phase 4, final installation and mulching, Robbins Nursery. Furthermore, I move to authorize the town administrator to proceed with contract negotiations and execute agreements with the above-mentioned vendors in accordance with their submitted proposals and the town's procurement policies and procedures.
Mr. Hartzell, do you want to amend your second?
Yes.
Okay, nothing from the audience, so take call, please.
Councilmember Hayes,
Yes.
Councilmember Worley,
Yes.
Councilmember Eberhardt,
Yes.
Board Member Hartzell,
Yes.
Thank you. The next item on here I'm sorry, Councilwoman Hayes, how much did you say that total was, if you don't mind?
$37,317.85.
Perfect. Okay, so I had put on here a motion to transfer $30,000 from the project line item 103541600 for parks that's on our budget, and that would have been for the Dow Hall parking and sidewalk to the Interlake Streetscape project, directing staff to follow the current bidding. However, we have $30,000 right now. I don't know if we need to move from one project to the other, the full 30 or not. We were not sure how much it was going to be when this was originally prepared. I did speak with Harry, and we've been looking at the Dow Hall project. This is an item that we already know is going to take us 6 months for us to go out to properly do that for the Dow Hall, that will move into next year's budget. So you have that money there. We wanted to make sure you seen that is a project that we can take that money and use. It's not feasible to be done in this fiscal year. So you could have some room to either change that from the $30,000 from that project line item, or as Councilwoman Hayes said, that right now it's $7,000 over. Do we want to leave a little bit in there in case something happens? It's totally up to you.
What line item was that, please?
Yes, ma'am. It would be from project line item 103541600, which is on our budget. It says parks, but it's specifically for the Dow Hall parking and sidewalk. That's what.
I see it right there.
Yes, ma'am. We would move money from that project to the streetscape project to be able to make sure we can cover the cost for the Interlake.
Well, rather than the full 30,000, just take 10,000?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I was thinking, since it was 7. So we would just say to transfer instead of 30, we could say that we're transferring 10 to be able to, for this project. And that's on your screen if that's what you would like to do.
So anyway, we have a recommended motion, and Councilmember Eberhardt suggests instead of approve the transfer of 30, we're going to do 10,000. If somebody would like to make this motion.
I'll make the motion to transfer 10,000 from the project line item 103541600 parks to the Interlake Streetscape project.
Mr. Hartzell, could you just, for the clerk's sake, read that whole thing, changing the 30 to 10, and that way she'll have it.
Just read the whole thing, okay?
Yes, please.
Then I move to approve the transfer of $10,000 from project line item 103-541-600 Parks, Dow Hall Parking Sidewalk to the Interlake Streetscape Project, directing staff to follow the current bidding and award process. I further move to authorize the town administrator to proceed with expenditures associated with the project, provided they fall within established budget guidelines. This transfer, combined with the remaining 10,000, are we going to change that?
No, that stays.
Okay, with the remaining 30, okay. In 103-541-600, downtown flowers, banners, signage allocates a total of 40,000 towards the Interlake Streetscape project.
Thank you. Do I hear?
I'll second.
Thank you. Nothing from the audience. Please call the roll.
Board Member Hartzell,
Who was that?
For you.
For me?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Hayes. Yes. Councilmember Worley,
Yes.
Councilmember Eberhardt.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's go ahead with old business.
Harry and I are going to have to get together on. Yes, ma'am. We'll get with them now. We needed to know which approach we were going to go, so then we could schedule it.
Okay, because
Yes,
I
ma'am.
was hoping, because in July is the Caladium Fest.
Oh, I don't think it'll take that long. I think, yeah, we'll have that done well before then, I'm sure.
Good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's move on to old business.
Street lighting follow-up, 4A. At the March 6, 2025 CRA meeting, the board directed the town administrator to identify a preferred street light design and location and to order samples for review. Unfortunately, due to the short turnaround time between the meetings, this task has been delayed to allow for more thought and a comprehensive evaluation. Staff has reviewed the style recommended by Mr. LeBlanc, and the example is attached. But we did not want to rush this process. Instead, we are considering many key factors such as the functionality and the safety, the aesthetics and charm, the sustainability, maintenance, placement, and the community impact. Given the downtown revitalization workshop or plan is currently underway through the CFRPC, Central Florida Regional Planning Council, which includes the public input and planning for the streetscaping and lighting, we recommend to continue the evaluation in alignment with the plan before making a final decision. And we ask that the CRA board would consider these elements as we work towards selecting a solution that will best be reflected for the needs and the character of the community. And I put it on the dais for you. I'm going to pull something up. Let me find it. But it's a memorandum regarding case study reviews on solar LED lighting projects for the CRA to consider as we're looking at this. I believe that we may have an opportunity with our CRA dollars that as we do this, that we may be able to find a cost savings, because let me draw your attention to, on this memorandum, and I'm going to go through it here in a minute. Sorry, I have to look through these glasses and make sure I can see right. There was a pilot conducted by Duke, and since we have Duke in our backyard, I don't want to miss the opportunity. So let me pull up my presentation for a moment. So the objective would be to implement a street lighting that will balance the charm, the functionality, and safety. We want to leverage successful models from other Florida municipalities and then address any questions and concerns from the CRA board. Alan provided a list of questions that had come up, and so I have some of those that are in here for us to be able to review. Some of the key considerations that we're looking at is the functionality and the safety. We want to look at the aesthetics and our community character, but also look at how we're going to be able to sustain and maintain the lights. Also the placement, and then having community impact. Some of the questions that I've been asked are we only going to focus on downtown? What about, just the downtown area where the businesses are, but have we considered expanding the lighting to the neighborhoods? Well, those are conversations that I've not been part of, and I don't know if the council or the CRA board has. So we're saying, can we take a step back and look at this, because we may have an opportunity to get a bigger bang for our buck. So there were case studies here, and again, I put them in there for you. One in Denai Beach, they did a solar LED street lighting in underlit neighborhoods. The initial cost was $1 million. They did 360 lights, and it was funded by bonds. The expansion cost, however, for the $300,000 for the 30 lights was done through the CDBG. So they had enhanced safety and sustainability. St. Pete Beach also this is who did it with Duke Energy. Similar reference to Orlando's $5 million LED project that they completed, and they had an estimated annual savings from, there's a Pinellas in here, of $129,000 in comparison. The outcome was that there was energy efficient and visually consistent lighting at all times. River Park Naples, they installed 155 fixtures to enhance visibility. The cost was $25,000 allocated for lighting repairs, and they preserved the historic character and increased safety. So we're asking for council consideration, or the CRA board, to consider Some of these questions that have come up that we don't want to rush through the process was, will the light reflect downward? Yes, we can get it where there's full cutoff LED designs that minimize the glare. Do we want standard or sealed bulbs? Based off of all of the work that I've done on this, it says that we need to choose standard LED modules for easy replacement, and then also Alan has done extensive research in trying to find out what would be best suited down there. And he had a good point. Do we want, what you said, functionality? Tell me what 2 words you use, Alan. I'm sorry.
Functionality or aesthetics, I believe
There
is
we
what
go.
I said. Yeah.
Or aesthetics. Because we talk 2 things, but we really want both. So if we rush through this, then we may not get the product that's going to give us both. Fixture availability, based off of what I see, I don't know that we will run into some big issues with the example that was provided by Mr. LeBlanc. I see that we can find them all over their local and statewide distributors. Spider webs. I'm learning a lot, but warm color LEDs attract fewer insects, so then that will hopefully take and eliminate some of our spider webs that we have out there. Retrofit or full replacement. Retrofit tops can reduce cost and disruption. And then our inventory needs. How much do we need to keep on hand in case we have to replace? These are all questions that Alan and I have been having since we had our last meeting. So we would need to keep 5 to 10% of total units in reserve. So we need to consider that into our cost. Fixture alternatives and durability. There was a question of, do we just swap out the current globes that we have now? It would be more cost effective as long as the structure is intact, but is it going to provide us with the safety aspect that we need to be able to have the lights shine down opposed to up? We don't know that that can work. We haven't been able to go through all of those things. Alan and I haven't been able to sit to even see what that would look like. Just timing has not allowed for that. High wind resistance, most of the fixtures that I've been able to look at, and especially with the one that Mr. LeBlanc provided, they do meet codes of up to wind loads up of 140 to 160 miles per hour. If we were going to do this, a pilot test would be recommended, and we would order 3 to 5 units for real life evaluation opposed to 1, because 1's not going to give enough of the light on the sidewalk for us to even really find out it does this work. So we're just putting this back in your hands and asking that for the next steps, for us to keep with the blend of the charm, the efficiency, and the community appeal and the lighting solutions. Can we wait and let's investigate a little bit more and get some more feedback, allow us to be able to go through the process? I know that Central Florida Regional Planning has this as one of our next topics with the banners, the wayfinding sign, and the lighting. So I think we have an opportunity to really, let's see what else we can do. Obviously, it is up to you.
I agree. I think we shouldn't rush into this. We really need to really think about what we're doing, and I would like the full board to be here if we can have everybody else here. I would.
And I like we have to do the functionality and the aesthetics. Like, for example, the one that was in the packet doesn't blend with the quaint charm that we have. Then when you mentioned the savings, it'd be helpful to know what percentage that was. Because if they have a bazillion lights and they save $1 million, so we need to know the percentage. And then the last thing is, warm might be good, but I've seen where in one town they put in the very yellowish light, and it was actually made my skin crawl. It was very depressing. So not too warm.
You don't want that yellowish light because you don't have color rendition, good color rendition in those lights. And then if you had an incident and you wanted to say, oh, he was wearing a red shirt, well, it might be brown in those lights. I have that issue every morning with my socks. I have that incandescent light in my bedroom, and I have to take those socks out to the bathroom to get the white light so I make sure I have the right color socks. It's important. But I think two things in seriousness. We have contracted with the Central Florida Regional Planning Group, and to move ahead without their input, I think, is ridiculous. We have contracted with them. We need to allow them to come to the table and tell us what they see, because we have paid for their expertise, and now to just move forward without even hearing it, I think is not a good use of taxpayer money. I also agree that we should have the full board here when we make this decision, because the third thing is these lamps, I think we had these street lamps that are on there now. When did those go in?
Tell you, I've been here 21 years roughly.
20 years or more, right?
And they've
So,
been,
so we're making a decision in an awfully quick manner for expenditures that are going to stay in place whether we like them or not, 20 to 30 years. And so I think it's very important that we proceed slower with this.
Yeah, I think Bird had told me 30 years. So
I bet it
think
was.
It's about 30
I
years.
bet it was,
Yeah.
because it was shortly after I got here, I think. So thus I would make a motion to support continued evaluation of downtown street lighting needs and defer final decisions until the downtown revitalization plan is complete. Staff is directed to consider all relevant factors, including design, safety, sustainability, and community input, and bring recommendations back to the CRA board at the next meeting. This ensures decisions are aligned with the plan's goals and reflect the best long-term value for our community.
Do I hear a second? Okay, I just had one question, and I'm sure we've talked about this a lot, but so when is our projected time to have the revitalization plan complete?
I don't know about when it's complete, because I want to say we have a year timeline, I believe is what it is. So if we wanted to say downtown revitalization, because she will give us a follow-up after. So we could, if we get that, we could always amend this later if we needed to.
Would it be better then if
We say after they have the workshop, because she'll give us recommendations after workshop recommendations are received.
Well, if I change the motion to say until until this portion of the downtown revitalization plan is presented.
There you go.
Okay, do I hear a second to the motion? Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none and hearing nothing from the audience, please call the roll, the vote.
Councilmember Hayes,
Yes.
Councilmember Worley.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Councilmember Eberhardt, Councilmember Worley, and
Yes.
Board Member Hartzell.
Okay, so project updates is next on our old business.
Can I just interject? The next time you do these, like where it says project update, can we have a little bigger font?
Yes.
It's a little small and a little light, the print, a little darker print. Thank you.
Got it. So the Dow Hall renovations, this is not to vote on. This is to put it out here so that you can see what the next option is that we need to be looking at for the Dow renovation project. And Harry is here and he can answer some questions. He has met with, two construction contractors to give their input on what they feel like would be best for the Dow Hall building. So these are just examples. And Harry, if you want to jump in here at any time, you can, because he has been primarily our liaison with this. So there are examples here, and what we would like is, before we move forward with this, is to be able to again, have thoughtful consideration to what we would like to see down there, and then what the building is capable of being able to do. So Harry, do you want to piggyback on that a little bit, on what you've been told with some of the aesthetics with the building?
I have two contractors that come out there. One of them, no, they didn't come back with it.
Pull closer, maybe.
They
Yeah.
didn't come back with anything, but then Bill Brantley came out there and he said that the roof is too low to build just a lean-to type
Straight across like this.
like that. So, yeah, like that one right there. It'll bring it down too low, like 7 feet off the ground. I just need to know what type you want to see out there so I know what to have a contractor bid. Ken said it needs to be built off of the roof. If you scroll the opposite way,
Which one?
something like that.
Yeah, that we could do it.
I'm not sure how to proceed with it without any input on.
If there is a style that is preferred, it would help us so that we know, but,
Something like that will also work because it's up higher on the roof than just
the way that it's,
flush with the roof.
yeah. And this is for the Dow Hall patio project.
Yeah. Now, that one concerns me with the penetrations to the roof and also having it lift up in a hurricane.
Okay, so we're going to take that one off. Yeah, I don't care for that.
I like this one.
I don't care for that style. It looks like it has little feet. I like this one, too. This is for reference for the people that aren't here. This is the one where it starts about halfway down the roof line and becomes another roof. Are there any issues there, Harry, with leakage and attaching a roof to a roof?
No, there's no leakage there. That's actually more of what Ken LeBlanc was speaking of. He was supposed to come back with an idea, but I haven't heard from him.
Yeah. And I like the dressing up on, like, scroll down a little bit where it had the, what have you call it, a cornice or whatever on the columns, or like this, just to dress it up a little.
That still comes right at the roof line.
No, that'd be the same as the sloped roof, but instead of just a plain thing and columns, add something to the columns to dress it up.
Rather than just the straight column, yes.
Correct.
Yes, I think
That was just an
good.
idea of coming off the roof, not an actual.
Or actually, if you did this one and put it up higher, like the gray rendering.
Okay, is that enough guidance to,
Does that help, Harry?
It helps.
Okay, good. And I have to say that, so Alan, and I can't miss the opportunity for us to say thank you to the team, because I've been asked in the past, some of the questions I have received is, why does Sebring allow for businesses to get money from the CRA to be able to update their business or to have facade grants? Every CRA establishes what their parameters are, and so I have to then say, when our CRA was established, we had a different purview that we were going opposed to what Sebring was doing. So some of the other questions that I have been asked, and I just missed that thought, it just went like that. Tell me this gets better, y'all.
well, I think part of it too is, if we don't use our CRA money, what is it, 5 years? Then we lose it. We have to give it back to the county. So, and Sebring gets so much money, between 500, 700,000, depending on what the taxes are in the economy. So if they don't use the money, they have to give it back. So some of the projects they're doing, they may not do if they'd had limited funding, because they have so much money, and I'm not sure, I don't know how they think, but they're probably not wanting to give it back to the county. They'd rather invest it in the downtown. But they are flush with money, and they have to spend it. I mean, they do actually have to spend it or give it back. And so they're faced to every year, how are we going to spend this money? So I think that's a big difference that people do not understand. They think our CRA is the same amount of money as is Avon Park and Sebring. And Sebring actually has another CRA out at the airport, but I'm talking about the downtown one.
Right. Yes. I just wanted to bring up one just quick thing, not to send us on a bunny trail, but it kept me up last night, so that makes me crazy. I think it's important that we remember the whole CRA district. We have been focusing so much on downtown, Interlake, Maine, HGTV, Flowers, Potts. We have a large, in my opinion, in my estimation, a large CRA area to address. And some of the areas of that, you talk about blight, there is a lot of that. And I don't know what we can do to allow people access to some money to repair their homes, or if we need to do more curb or better streets so that they don't flood. I don't know why some of the yards are so bad, but I just don't feel like people that live there do that on purpose. I think if they had an opportunity to have a better looking place, I'd like to believe they would. So I think we have to be careful that we don't just focus on what's going on in downtown, and I know the businesses on Interlake need attention, and I lead the band for that, but I also think that we have to continue to think about the overall, the blighted conditions in our CRA area. So, just a point.
Going through the original documents for our CRA, it says that it can be amended by a supermajority. So if we would want to go on more like a Sebring thing, if we had a supermajority, and we had the discussion with Burton, there are a couple definitions for supermajority, and we never did hash out which definition applied, but
But we could.
we could.
But we could, yes, the ability is there to amend it, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, any other?
I do know what I was going to say now. I looked back over at the gentleman here. CRA in Sebring and also in Avon Park it included administrative functions. Ours does not. So they have dedicated staff who can be paid from the CRA to perform the duties that are being done. Alan has been down 2 people, so he has been in the field doing a lot of work. Now, he's helped me with some of the things like the lights and things of that nature, the benches. But Harry has really spearheaded running with this and being pretty much our CRA coordinator, because I say, Harry, I don't have time for this, I need to give this to you. And then he takes and gets it done. So I just wanted to be able to recognize them while they were here, because they have full-time jobs with the other work, and now we're making it happen with this.
I think that we should kind of hold that thought as well, because I agree, and I certainly appreciate the extra work that these folks have put in, but that's another reason why we should only meet quarterly, because this puts a tremendous amount of pressure on our dwindled staff to try to come up with the things that we ask of them in 30 days rather than 90 days. It would be, I think everything would be researched more thoroughly, because you would have time to do it correctly.
Right.
And it's not fair to put them under unrealistic deadlines and then say, oh, but that wasn't done well. So,
Thank you.
Okay, so I think
That's.
that moves us into the next.
Oh, no, I got 2 more.
Oh,
Hang on,
okay,
I'm going to
sorry.
keep moving, I'm sorry. So then the South Main Flower Pot Project, all of the amounts have come in for that, and so we were able to follow our purchasing guidelines, and it's not something that would have to come back here. So for, it's okay, yes, ma'am, for the South Main. So the flower pots have been ordered, the plants have been ordered, and we are looking at the pavers right now to see. Now, I want to engage you on this for a moment. Whenever we originally voted and we were doing the pavers, I vaguely remember that I want to say that I thought we were saying at first we were going to do 8 inches, but then 8 feet, that's what I meant, 8 feet, and then we scaled it down to where it was 5, okay, I'm sorry. I have all these numbers because I've been going back through my notes. it doesn't look as nice as we had originally planned for it to look, because it just looks like it's pots sitting on top of it. I don't think it was large enough for us. So Harry and I have been having conversation, and we were like, well, do we take out 2 pots and just leave one? No, we don't want to do that. But when we were brainstorming this morning, we had an idea of what if we just go ahead and add around the perimeter then? Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
And I don't know how it would look, but if you add an accent color for the, around the perimeter, rather than the same brick,
It'll give it some of that aesthetic design.
I think that's good, but it would not be consistent in design with what's on North Main. Is that even an issue?
What we were thinking is if you would approve for this, then we would go ahead and do it right now when we do the South Main, so that you can see what it looks like, and then move the other, on the other side, down. Yes, ma'am.
Add it to the North Main if it looks good.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and I had asked Charlotte about that, because I just think it makes all the difference in the world. And just to me, it's kind of like a blob, where before, with the pictures we looked at with the wider pavers, it was a real feature for the flowers. And it just doesn't, to me, we need that. So I think we should do it on South Main, and then maybe when we get further along, we can add the pavers and maybe do the accent around the perimeter, so. I think that's a yes.
I was going to say, if you vote for that today, we can go ahead and do that with the accent down South Main, and then we'll work to do it down North Main as well. Okay?
So do I hear a motion?
okay, make a motion that the pavers be a combination of a, what is it now, 5 foot, 6 foot?
5 feet. It's 5 feet.
We want to go 8 foot.
Okay, a total of 8 feet, and having an accent border of,
Whatever. Whatever looks
I'll just
right.
say and have an accent border on South Main.
Because that's going to depend on the size of the pavers, what size the border's
Yeah.
going to be. Yeah.
With the provision that this could also be applied to North Main in the future.
Do I hear, okay, thank you. All right, any other discussion on this from the
Who seconded
podium,
that?
from the board?
Who made the second?
Okay, none from the audience, so please call for the vote.
Councilmember Eberhardt?
Yes,
Councilmember Hayes?
Yes.
Councilmember Worley?
Yes.
Board Member Hartzell?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go ahead, are you done? You got one more?
She's got one more in there. She snuck all
One
3 of them
Parks,
in one
Lake
paper.
Placid Parks.
So this again is in here for informational purposes. You have our list from the park inspections. I will email out, I wanted to get the Placer AI data to you for this meeting, and it just hit me that as soon as I looked at this that I did not get that, but I have it in my email, so I will send it to you, where we talked about the traffic to the parks that are located within the CRA district. The ones located within the CRA district are of higher priority, and so we wanted to bring that to this council so that you could see. Based off of what we have to remove from the parks, the first one is the Bicentennial Park equipment replacement, and I did add together, Alan took some of the pieces here that if we remove, this is what would be good to replace back in with like. So it was like equipment, something that had been there that was very much similar. It's just replacing with like. Keep in mind that we have opportunity to potentially go out for FERDAP money for some of these parks. So I'm just say that just to keep it in mind. So for Bicentennial, just on the equipment that we would need to put back in there that's being taken out, we would look at $8,552. And again, that's for the Bicentennial Park.
Bicentennial Park is Dal Hall?
Yes.
Okay.
That price does not include shipping for any of these.
Right.
Correct.
I
It's
understand that.
strictly just the playground equipment.
Okay.
And we've got plans for the Bicentennial Park already where we have money on there.
Yes.
So this is here just for you to see if we remove, and that park is used. Now, the Placer AI data is very difficult to pick up because it's based off of the phones that are coming through there. So with having a road on both sides, it was very difficult to use. However, I will tell you, I've been frequenting down in that area so I can see the park use. The park is used a lot, believe it or not.
Well, good.
It is used, it really is used a lot. So just keep that in mind. Now, the Spruce Park would be next.
And what is that going to be on the budget? What, is that going to be Spruce Park, or is that named something else on the budget?
We don't even have it on there right now, but remember with the CRA, it's project-driven, so you can take and say, I'm just going to throw it out there, there's $10,000 in the budget, and we can take and move it from the whatever line item project, and you can create Spruce Park project. So this board has the ability to say, well, we want to take and create a project now, and then it will be Spruce Park, and this is what we want to allocate to it. So you do have that ability since it falls within the CRA district.
And where is this located, Spruce Park?
Alan?
Behind the old bowling alley.
Behind what?
The old bowling alley on Spruce Street.
Oh, yes, I remember. Thank you.
And they are used, our parks are really utilized a lot. They really are. But for the Spruce Park, just playground equipment replacement, replacing like with like, I have $13,140.
What do we have to do underneath these pieces of equipment? We have to put that special mulch type stuff, or what?
Yeah, ideally, we would do away with the sand, put a border up, put weed barrier down, and then fill it with safety wood mulch.
So that is an additional expense not included here, right?
Correct.
Okay.
We just had sand delivered. Everything is safe right now, but it would
Okay.
it would be better long-term to have a border.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm not sure, just to replace like and kind, maybe we could replace with something better? Or more, whatever the word is, just better than like and kind.
I apologize for pointing, that's what Alan said. That would be our recommendation. That's why I said this is just for informational purposes. If we were to replace it like with like, we were hoping that you would say that, because that's what we think we need to do. We need to decide what we really want at these parks. We know they're being utilized, but if we have to replace, it's the same thing. If we have to replace it, can we make sure we have a plan on what we want to do?
I hate to use this word, but I know in absentia over here, she's listening, she's telling me, we need a workshop on this. She would say that if she were here.
Yes, we need to know what equipment we want down there. We need to know what you want the specific parks to look like. Because right now, if we went through just replacing again like with like, and we know that we would probably want something different, we're looking at a cost between the three of $26,782. And we could say, hey, yes, just go buy it and put it out there, but what are we doing long range for planning?
Yeah, let's have a plan, and then rather than just throwing some equipment in a yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have Taylor Park yet, that's the one over by Serenity Village, right? Taylor Park?
Yes. It's got the new structure, but we just had to pull out the dome structure due to deterioration.
What would it take to put a basketball hoop up somewhere? Obviously, with my stature, I don't have a lot of experience in basketball. But I just think that when I drive around the neighborhoods and I see a lot of toys and bikes and stuff in the yards, I almost always see one of those freestanding basketball hoops. So, but then we would have to put pavement?
Yes, we do have the ones by the library, but
Right.
if you were to do something else, it depends on if you want to do something like a half court or a full court.
Well, see, I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking about making like a half circle just around the basketball hoop. I'm not thinking of making the whole park into a basketball, arena, because then we've taken out all the little kids and, all that type of thing. But I just kind of think that maybe somewhere we should put another basketball hoop, because I am told, of course, they're never there when I walk in the morning because I walk in the dark, but I am told that those basketball courts are often utilized over there. So maybe we
Right.
should put at least a hoop somewhere.
You would have to also consider putting up a very tall chain link fence behind it to capture the ball from going out into the roadway or a house.
Yeah, yes.
One of the things that really takes up a lot of space when you do paving is you have to have retention. And Swift Mud makes us way overdo our retention in our town. But, I'm just saying, it's not just taking that part of it. Then we're going to take more land out of that park to put the
Right.
retention.
Right, I'm sure, yeah. Okay.
Okay. It's been my intention to get up to the Sebring, I think they call it the Warning Park. It's I think, interactive park. To see what they've done. I think they have like maybe hopscotch, or they have a whatever. But and then Sebring has the concrete cornhole things. Instead of just replacing, let's get creative and do something.
Okay, are we ready?
I also noticed that for some reason, it didn't include on this page, I know it's very hard to see, Councilwoman Hayes, but it says attachments, and then for the Dow Hall, you would have had on the dais the pictures here, and I have extras because I brought extras in case the public attended. So if you would like to take any extras, again, these are just preliminary designs that were completed by our previous town engineer based off of some of the feedback that he had received. So this is nothing set in stone. It was just what we had been developing for the Dow Hall, or I should say Bicentennial on here. I know they've got different names, park, and there's 3 different maps for you to look at. Again, this is informational purposes for you to be able to review as we develop that park.
Does this colored paper come in here? Is that this?
Yes, ma'am, and they're very hard. I could not figure out how to print the thing on the really big paper, but we can do that if you'd like.
Well, this is fine, thank you. Okay.
And then the last thing I have is the benches. So I know that in the last meeting, we were asked to order a bench and put it out here on display. And again, for time purposes, I didn't get that ordered, and then when I got ready to order, I stopped, and I'm going to explain why. A couple different things. When we brought it, we needed to gauge you to see what we wanted to have down there. Now, I did a lot of research on the benches, and that one is actually rated the top with National Parks and Recreation Association. So I tried to see what they were doing in different areas, what they recommend, things of that nature. But the benches for the downtown improvements, though, I'm asking you to reconsider the process, the purchasing process, because we were going to go out to bid, we were going to wait for someone to come back and tell us, how much they would charge and things. But whenever you look at the current procurement path, it includes the benches in a larger project bid. It requires for the full RFP process. It may result in the contractor marking it up. We also have the sales tax that we can take advantage of not being taxed, and it's just higher total cost is what I was thinking. So when I went through, I proposed that if you will authorize it, that we can purchase them directly because we can use our government pricing, we can do the tax exempt, we will avoid the contract overhead. It's also a streamlined process where we just order it, we get it here, and we can take care of it instead of all of that additional work that's going to go into. I would have to have Harry work with the contractor. Now we've got to make sure they put it together, put it out, and so it ends up being a little bit more work. Let me see, so the example that we had provided in the meeting before was the Georgetown bench. It was through Barco Products, and it was a cast aluminum frame, recycled plastic. We needed to clarify this part. Councilwoman Eberhardt and I were downtown Sebring, and we realized that the price originally was for a 4-foot, and then Alan even said, are we going to go with 4-foot, or are we going to go with 6-foot? So the benches that are out there right now are 4-foot, but do we want only 4-foot? Do we want 6-foot? Do we want 6-foot with a thing in the middle? We've seen benches that has, it's like, they look like they're 2-seater, almost looks like it's 4-seater.
You definitely want the thing in the middle. If you go with 6 feet, you definitely want the thing in the middle, because that keeps people from sleeping on the benches.
Okay, so with that, if you take, and we were authorized to order 30 benches. If we went out for the current procurement method of contract bid between $1,400 and $1,600 per bench, we're looking at anywhere between $42,000 to $48,000. If we direct purchase this, we're looking at anywhere between $3,300 to $3,600 in total. So that's a savings of between $6,000 to $12,000. It just depends. And so in our thought process, I'm like, well, that gets us more. We don't want to take, I didn't want to take it out of our CRA money when we could use that somewhere else, was our thought process.
So we would take that money out of town money,
For the,
benches?
we don't have it in there. It's not,
No.
it's, yeah, yes, ma'am, it's only in the CRA budget.
So we can still purchase like that and use CRA money to do that? That's still legal to
Yes,
do that?
ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's within, as long as you vote on it here, it's still legal. And we just
I
order.
think the reference is that rather than spend the extra money going through the bid process, save that money and not take it out.
Right, that's
Take it out
correct.
of the.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll still take it out of the CRA money, but it's going to save us money if we go this route opposed to going out RFP, contractor and everything. So I have a recommended motion, and I printed it out in big if anybody wants it, but I do have a recommended motion.
Before we go too far with finalizing this, I'm having second thoughts on the design of the benches.
Okay.
I went to that Unity breakfast in Sebring, and they have, instead of having the recycled plastic for the seating area, it's all cast aluminum, and I do think that looks better. And black.
We were both walking and we looked at it and said, wow, that actually looks really good. And so I was like, well, I have a confession. We didn't order it yet. And so we wanted to bring it back here. Again, we're not looking to rush anything. We want to do what you would like for us to do. So it's up to you. It's your purview. You decide how you want us to handle it.
Well, once again, I think we're looking at a purchase of significant dollars that's going to last a significant number of years. And I think we should reconsider, because I agree, I wasn't too keen on the design. It's a little too frilly for me to feel like we could keep it clean. And so, and I think that it would be better if we reconsider a little different design as well. So let's table and step back and take a look.
Okay, and then for pricing, maybe we could get some 4-footers for the small areas and some 6-footers for the large areas.
I also talked with Jennifer with the chamber, and we were having conversation with Gibby about how long the benches are, the questions that came up here. They purchased the bench, but does that mean they own it indefinitely? And so Jennifer was going to search up for those rules and what it said when they signed it. They do not believe that it's indefinitely. So then there's conversation to be had about that, because I was asking about the plaques that for those. Now, she said they did order all new ones because it's time for them to update it. So she said that if we wanted her to hold off, then she could. But so just wanted to update you. She is working on that so that we'll have some more information on how they were handling it.
Joyce said yours was perpetual, though, wasn't it?
Pardon?
Didn't you say your bench that you purchased was
Yeah.
perpetual?
No,
Oh, no.
no, there was never that understanding.
Okay.
It was just to pay off the mortgage on the building. That was the whole theme for the benches.
Okay. And while we're on benches, did you remove one of the benches from Devane Park?
2. They were broken. Basically, they had a crack on one of the seats, one towards the middle and the other one right where it bolts down. So
Where we, my partner and I that walk, feel like that there's a little rise there, and sometimes we need a little rest there. The bench was gone.
we don't have any spares, but we could probably shift one from a different area if we have permission.
It's okay, we're getting in better shape, but thank you. I thought I just wanted to make sure I hadn't lost my mind. Thank you.
But that brings up a good question. I mean, it's a good thought, though, because now the composite, they're supposed to last a really long time. And so it makes us now go, okay, also looking at the material, what material are we going to use? And remember, the benches we looked at before were composite.
Right,
And
right.
then we happened to be down there to do the RFP. We did a walkthrough, well, we scheduled for a walkthrough, no one showed up. And while we were down there, we discussed it with Jennifer, and so.
Yeah, even though they're supposed to last a really long time, in my opinion, they're nearing the end of their lifespan being out there.
I wondered too, because we have so many benches in front of the college, if we could maybe utilize some of those in other parts of town.
Could probably, maybe the 2 that you took out, see about weeding out 2 of those possibly, or even 1 and put over, and then let's see what it looks like. Just a thought.
Frank, I thought you said those are very well used over by the college.
Pardon me?
The benches over by the college, I thought you said they were very well used.
Excuse me. I see them being used, but not overused.
So you
Occasionally,
think
you'll
we-
see some people sitting there, but I've never seen them, all of them full with everybody sitting on them, you know.
So do you think we could get away with 1 or 2 less?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Easy, yeah.
I mean, I used to walk my dog every day there, and
You're
there's
right
just
next
really
to it.
not, they're not used that much. I mean,
Okay.
for a while, there was couple homeless people that used them consistently. And once in a while, you'll see the kids waiting for someone to pick them up or whatever, but if you look how many there are, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so maybe we could weed out some of those and use them other places where they don't have any benches, so. Maybe even in the parks, so the
Yes.
parents can have some place to sit while they're watching the kids.
Yes.
Okay, is there any other discussion under old business?
Um,
Oh, I'm sorry, we haven't finished that yet. Okay, the C is the quarterly CRA meetings.
Wait, can I just go back for a second? These priority recommendations that are in here, and there are 15 of them. And this was from Dr. Spenger, Play Well 360, that whole thing?
Oh, on the, yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
you're looking at me like I have 3 heads. I would just like to, if we could possibly fix up those signs that are at the boat ramp. It's number 15, and the rules and warning signage, because that really is a high-risk area for us, and I don't know those signs are really awful. And maybe, there's like mold and stuff. Maybe we could pressure wash it and it'd be okay, but I don't think it would cost a fortune to replace those signs, would it?
No, we're going to order new.
I think, I would like to see that as a priority. I know these other things are important, but I think for all the people that use that boat ramp, we really need to put that verbiage that's in number 15 out there in a better way.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Harry was already looking at replacing the signs, so yes, ma'am. We're going to,
Okay,
we'll take
thank
care
you.
No, you can't.
I didn't know what money, she's the money one. She's not here, so I don't know which money we
She's
were going to
making
use.
the comment.
but
Yes, ma'am.
I just think it needed to be done. Thank you.
While you're speaking about signs, something else to keep in mind would be for the names of the parks, instead of just having a street sign printed out with the name of the park, it might be a good idea to think about a decorative way to
Yes,
advertise
yes,
the
true.
parks.
Good.
Okay, so let's go to C, under old business, quarterly CRA meetings. And just as a, if you all don't mind, I know there's been some changes when people, this is my collection for rents and payments, and it's killing me. My business is suffering from coming the first Thursday. If we could move it to the second Thursday, it would be very helpful. I don't know why we did it the first Thursday, maybe so we could do this before the town council meeting. But, I mean, it's really hard for me. It's very, very difficult, and my people are suffering for it, and it bothers me. Like, I've had many calls, and it's hard. It's the third, and some people pay on the third. But I
Yes.
have to also pay people.
Sure,
My
sure.
owners are waiting for me to transfer money today, and I have just been, my stomach's in a knot. That's all I can tell you. So if we could move it to the second Thursday, if everybody agrees with that.
I don't have any problem with that, but the other thing I think we need to seriously address is two things, please. The quarterly meetings, but even more importantly, we need to move this to 5:30. Because look at the tremendous crowd we have here. There's nobody here except us that are paid to be here. And we're not getting any input from the public at all. And I don't know how many people are listening right now, but I would guess maybe 2. And I could probably name them. But, this is just not right. And the mayor can't even come.
Right.
And so it just happens to be, I think we made it Thursday for me because that's my day off. But I agree with Deborah. This is very difficult. If we do it the third Thursday, and I don't, I guess I would like it on Thursday because it's my day off, but the third Thursday, council isn't the second Monday, so it's not in the same week as council. And, maybe that would work for folks, or we could at least make it work, but it would certainly be better for you, Deborah.
Yeah, I prefer to keep it the first 2 weeks of the month, just because if you need to go somewhere, you need to do something, you've got 2 weeks without meetings.
Yes.
Because we have the regional utility, then we have council, then we could have this, and then we're kind of, unless we have another
I was gonna
meeting.
say, the only thing, though, is keep in mind that means staff has to prepare for 3 meetings. That's the only thing.
But if we went to quarterly, it would be better.
Yes, if we go to quarterly, that would definitely balance it out.
And-
Because
and-
right now, we're leaving a meeting, and then, because you've got to think, we've got LUPRAC, we have council, we have LPA, we have CRA.
And then, on the other hand, we were talking in council about going to 2 meetings a month in council because we were taking so long.
Correct.
So if we take this at least to quarterly, we wouldn't be putting that tax on staff and everything as well, so.
Right. And that was our recommendation, our ask was, can we take this meeting, can we vote today for it to go to resume quarterly and to 5:30?
And the second Thursday?
Well, we were requesting for it to be the third week, but obviously it's your vote, yeah.
If it's the second Thursday, it's the same week as council. If it's the third, even if we go to council twice a month, it would be second and fourth.
Right.
So this could be the third,
Okay.
and then I think we'd be okay. And the only objection that I think we would have is possibly from, at least Ken maybe, who is not here, that we aren't going to get things done fast enough. But I think the issue that I have with it is sometimes we go too quickly. And we make big decisions with the CRA, and decisions that are going to last us 20 to 30 years. And I feel rushed, and I think staff feels rushed as well. And I don't think that's good for the town, that we should make those decisions just because we feel like, there's some kind of a pressing need, so. So, you want me to I would make a motion that the CRA meeting be moved to quarterly, and that quarterly meeting would be held on the third Thursday of the month at 5:30 PM.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing nothing from the audience, please call for the vote.
I'm sorry, was it you that seconded? Okay. Councilmember Hayes,
Yes.
Councilmember Eberhardt,
Yes?
Councilmember Worley,
No.
Board Member Hartzell,
Yes.
Now, don't we have to bring this up for a second reading, second time? I think we have to meet next month and bring this up for a second reading, I think.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Do we have to have Bert do an ordinance or do something? There's nothing. Okay.
I think the ordinance gives us the opportunity to meet quarterly or, what, it's in there, but it's within the ordinance that we could do this.
Yes.
Because
So
we used to.
Right, well, the requirement is quarterly, so we took it by vote. It's not a requirement for us to meet every month. In fact,
right.
it's, we're only supposed to meet every quarter, so
Yeah,
we're
the
over.
requirement is at least quarterly.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. So he doesn't have to do anything.
Okay. We're at the end of the agenda. Is Ms. Hayes?
I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Ms. Eberhardt?
I would like to bring up to Charlotte, there's apparently a move in Tallahassee to do away with the CRA, and it's made it through 2 committees. Has Lake Placid taken a stand and contacted any of our representatives or senators, and have you done anything?
We have, and Central Florida Regional Planning, it's also affecting them. It would affect, if it passes, it would affect them as well. So I've been in close contact with Jennifer Cotto-Salisbury. Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that would take our local authority away and give it to the state, and I think that's very dangerous for us, especially us in a small town. Did you get any feedback from the legislators whether we should make a bigger thing? Do we need to write letters? Do we need to?
Yes, it's on through the Florida League of Cities, that if you go on there, they have where you can contact your legislature regarding it, and they have where you click on there and you put it in there. I think we all need to.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate you bringing that up. It's a real important issue. I mean, we won't be meeting it at all.
That's right. It won't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I love the CRA. I can't, it's come under threat several times, but I think this is the most it's made it through committees to get rid of it. So it's unfortunate. So, Ms. Eberhardt?
No, nothing.
Okay, hearing nothing more from the board, I'll call the meeting adjourned at 3:27.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am.